What's going on, guys? Magdowan here with another quick guide video. Today I want to go over stash tabs, some really basic information about how to price items, and then some general strategies for time management when you're mapping. So if any of that interests you, stick around. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is just go through the different tab types and what they do. I don't have all of them, but I have all the ones that I feel like I need for what I'm doing. The currency tab just keeps all your currency, and then in the second section here, you've got all your influenced items, as well as some squares at the bottom where you can keep whatever you want. Fragment tab keeps all the stuff that you pick up from different league mechanics and sets that allow you to get into different bosses, so you've got all your Legion stuff here, Breach, all your Scarabs here, and then Invitations. The Essence tab lets you upgrade these essences and store them in a way that is fairly convenient. Divination cards will keep all your cards, and you can organize them, just the ones that you own, all, full stacks, whatever. The Delve tab keeps all your fossils on the top and your resonators on the bottom. Metamorph is the same deal, except on the top you've got catalysts, and then on the bottom you've got the actual items that you pick up when you fight the Metamorph monsters in map. Again, Blight tab, same deal. Oils on the top, maps on the bottom, and then you've got this window in the middle where you can anoint stuff. Map tab just keeps all your maps up to, I think it's like 72 of any single map. And then the unique tab just keeps one of each unique. And so, which ones of these do I think that you need to get going? And I would say at least a currency tab, a map tab, a fragment tab, and one premium tab. And that's just where we're at. The game is pretty vast, and so as a new player, those are the things that I would want most to streamline at the beginning. I want to know what currency I have right off the bat. I want it organized well. I want to know how many maps I have. That's the in-game content. I want to know what important items, let's call it that I've picked up, and the fragment tab is basically that function. And then you need a premium tab so that you can sell stuff. Everything else, I feel like you can basically kind of pick as you go, figure out what you need, how much you're going to play, how much of it is useful. I would also say never buy any of this stuff when it's not on sale. They do sales so frequently that I just view the sale price as the actual intended price of the item, and the day-to-day price is intentionally inflated. Another topic I want to go over real quick is the Affinity system. I've been surprised at how many folks don't know about this. If you right-click at the top here, you'll see this option here, Affinities, and you'll have options here sometimes. Most of the time there'll only be one. In this case, it's currency. Have that checked. If you have an item in your inventory that is a currency, control-click it. It will go into this tab. And that is true regardless of which tab you have open. Very convenient. You can do it for the league mechanic stuff. You can do it for heist and expedition as well. I also like to have a tab that I call rolled maps. That's where I keep literally the maps that I have that are ready to go. And then on the other side here, I will keep sextants and invitations and stuff that I have planned to do for a day. In this case, I actually have two of these tabs going because I'm running both Crimson Temple and Shore in kind of an alternating back and forth type situation. I also have a dump tab, which you probably should have, especially if you're doing a very specific strategy that dumps out a lot of large items that you're going to have to sell or look at. It's nice to have a tab that you can just throw a bunch of stuff into and get into the next map. I will say I use this less than I used to before I had all the tabs and the affinities going, but nonetheless, it is nice to have a tab that you know which one it is, and when you come out of the map, it's a place you can just put anything that you're not going to deal with right at that moment, so you spend less time in the hideout, more time killing monsters. And a lot of people will advocate for having quad tabs. I've never purchased one. They are nice, but I've just never found them to be a necessity. And I guess that's about all I have to say about the stash itself. So let's talk about really basic concepts about selling items. So, in terms of selling items, let's take this one as an example. It's just a random ring I had listed for 10C. Let's set it here. So let's say I had no idea how to price this item. If you have no idea what it's worth, I would say just go ahead and come here and set it at 5 exalted orbs. And then every 10 minutes, lower it by 1. And then once you get down to 1x, switch it to chaos orbs. And then some percentage of, an X, whether it's 100C, 120C, and then lower it by 20. And then eventually you're going to get to where somebody's going to buy it, or you're going to get to where you realize that it's not worth anything and you'll get rid of it. Another way to do this is if you have multiple tabs, is just have one tab that's 5x and then 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move the item down through them. That also works, but in this case, I'm just assuming you only have the one premium tab, and so if you're trying to sell a bunch of stuff, it does make sense to curate each item individually to a point. Another thing is the currency tab. If you have that set as public, you can come in here and price your items. Either click exact price again. You can either just type in the ratio, or if you want to sell them for exalted orbs, for example, say these were 250 to the exalt if you check the price on the trade website, then you would type 1/250. And that lets people know that you're willing to sell 250 of these for one exalted orb, and you're good to go. So most items will sell more, they will sell for more in bulk than they will as singles. And this is true across the board, even if you're selling them for exalts. So if you have enough of an item to sell for an exalt and then you do the math, you'll be selling it for way more chaos than the individual price. Even for people who are selling in bulk at an inflated rate in chaos, it'll still be to your benefit to sell stuff for exalted orbs in terms of how many chaos orbs you're getting per item. And then another thing to keep in mind is there are some currencies that go up in value over the course of the league, and there are some that go down. I'm not going to go over each individual thing over time. Knowing which items are likely to go up in value and which are likely to go down, and deciding when you want to sell and what you want to keep, that is one of the primary skills of the game. And unfortunately, like any other skill, it just takes time, practice, trial and error to hone in your understanding of it. And that's going to take a while. Some good rules of thumb, though, are things like ancient orbs are going to go up. The value of a mirror always goes up. So if you happen to drop a mirror shard, it's probably going to be worth more at the middle to the end of the league than it is at the very beginning. And then there are other bubblegum type currencies that tend to go down a little bit in value as the league progresses because so many of them enter the market. So, having said all of that, that's how you can price an item if you don't know what its value is. You'll need one premium tab, obviously, to do that. And then we went over how to set up a sale for currency items. And now I want to just real quick talk about a couple mapping etiquette ideas, because a thing that I see basically every content creator say, and it seems like the reason that they do that is because almost every player struggles with the ratio of time that they're spending in their hideout to the amount of time they're spending in maps. And starting to maximize that ratio is one of the best ways that you can make more currency, have more fun, etc. in the game. So, the way that you can do that is always have maps rolled up ahead of time, as many of them as you have available. And you're going to put a map in the device, which already shall have your stuff selected, whatever league mechanic you want to do here. If you have scarabs to run, make sure your influence is set up. You're going to put a map in, you're going to open it up, go in, clear your map, and then when you come out, you're going to open this again first, put in another map, click the open button, then click the stash, hit control, dump all your items if you have to, and then about that time the map should be up and ready to go. You're going to click that portal and you're just going to go again. In between maps is not the time to figure out how much is this item worth, how many of these do I have, what am I going to sell this for. Do all of that as its own thing. And then when you're in maps, you don't want to be standing still, particularly in the current meta. And so my advice is either loot the stuff as you go, as you run, if you're able to do that, or loot at the end of the map. Don't do a half and half. If you're going to stop between every few packs to click on stuff to pick up, then don't also get to the end of the map and then have to sweep through the entire thing again, still picking stuff up. Do one or the other. Exceptions include something like an Exalt or a Mirror of Calandra or Mirror Shard from a Harbinger, stuff like that. Those are worth always immediately picking up under all circumstances, even if it means that after you pick it up, you die or whatever. Those, you want those off the ground in your inventory, safe from a client crash or internet disconnection or whatever. Another thing is learn the layout of the maps that you enjoy, and that will allow you to have a strategy before you go into the map for how you're going to clear it. If it's a map like Strand, you know that it's essentially a straight line, and so that you know that if you see a little offshoot, it's going to be full of mobs, and if you just ignore it and go to the end of the map, then you're either leaving those packs there or you're backtracking through the map, which is not a good idea. And so know the layout before you go into the map and have a plan for the way that you're going to clear it. When you first go into the map, if your computer is not on the higher end, it is, and especially this is true if you're playing in hardcore, it's worth giving the map just a few seconds to load up. So enter the map, see your character load in, give it a 2 count or something, just so that there's no lag or whatever as it tries to load stuff in as you're also trying to run into the first pack. And I think that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions about the stash or, just basic general time management stuff with mapping or how to sell items, not pricing items, that is more of its own video, its own beast. But I did give you the one trick for how to do a catch-all where you decrease it over time. But anyway, yeah, if there's questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be back very soon with another video. And yeah, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you then. Appreciate you.